Well, good afternoon, everyone, and we are now inside a remote and ancient village in Ji'an City province, and this is our tour of rural areas in China. I'm Ning and this is Idah, and we're going to show you around of this ancient village, which has a very famous reputation about having all these scholars in Chinese history.
Indeed, indeed. I'm so happy to be here, Ning Hong. I was just thinking to myself, what an amazing experience it's been so far. And actually, even before this, we have been in Ji'an City province. It's been amazing. But just to be here, Ning Hong, in the middle of so much history, in the middle of so much ancient tradition, it's amazing.
Yeah, so this is your first time being here?
It's my first time, actually. It's my first time not only in Ji'an, but actually in Ji'an City province.
Oh.
Yeah, it's my first time. I'm really enjoying it.
Oh, this is actually also my first time to come into this village.
Really?
Yes, yes. This is a really fresh experience for both of us.
Indeed, indeed. I like that. That's interesting.
Yeah, we were told by locals that there were several places that they want us to see, and especially one of the places, the square that we're actually currently in. And well, this is where the village history is really lasting for like over 1,000 years, I was told.
Wow. Wow.
And this is where they will gather, and this is a square that built like in Ming Dynasty. Like
really?
1,000 years ago.
Yeah. And the other thing I'm noticing more and more as we walk around is the history is still maintained. They haven't touched it. So, for example, the monuments and the historical monuments you have here and you have there, it's still very, very in the old way.
Yes, which really, I'm really surprising that they kept this so well.
Yeah.
And well, I think it's partly because they have a good reputation, because people here, they have go out and being really high-ranking officials in Ming and Qing dynasty. So in history, people would like to protect the heritage also of their family. So they will preserve this place really well.
Oh, wow. And just tell me a bit more about just the general town that we're in. I know there's a lot of family ancestry as well.
Yeah.
You know, tell me a bit more about that, because it looks very, very interesting. Every corner I look at, Ning Hong, seems to have some element of history and some element of tradition.
Yes, yes. Well, this is the very old village. As we're walking through here, you can see the street is really original and lasting for quite a long time. And the square, you might be surprised at what kind of square this is, and also the ancestral hall as well. And well, I think I talked to some of the locals earlier today, and they told me that this is a place belonging to a family named Ouyang.
Ouyang.
Yeah, Ouyang is a family name. However, with two characters in Chinese, so often referring to a big family. There's some kind of double character family names in China, like Ouyang, like Sima, like there are other ones. But Ouyang is a very special one, because in Chinese history, there's a quite famous people called Ouyang Xiu. In Chinese, Ouyang Xiu in Song Dynasty. Yes. He's a famous politician and also a famous poet as well. And he actually is from a city local.
So the city has also produced a lot of celebrities, I'd say, and maybe some notable personalities, as per what you're telling me.
Mostly intellectuals. Yeah. Intellectuals, scholars. Well, so this is the place, where in Chinese history, when you are intellectuals will choose to become servants for the emperor. Teachers or students, or sometimes serving for the governing body, is their honor and also their goal to become something like that. And then once they become a really high-ranking official, they will return to their home to show that I'm success. So this is a tradition. And once they return, they will put their banner here. So,
like that?
Yeah, like that one. Oh. Yeah. So these two places are where you put your banners here. The one on the right, this one. Yeah. This is it's like you are taking an examination, and in the province, you win the examination in the province. You were selected as a higher then you will go to the higher ranks of exam.
Okay.
So this one is for you to win. When you win a examination in province level, you will put your banner here.
I see.
Yeah, and then over there on the left side, this is once you have been selected for the next level of examination, is the emperor himself design and host the examination.
Wow.
So they're called the student of emperor.
Wow.
This is the ultimate glory for anyone studying in Chinese history.
Right.
Since Han Dynasty, Tang, Song, throughout the history, of scholars, their ultimate dream is to become the student of the emperor. And this is the third, and there are three results. The first one, only one person, is called 状元. The first one.
Can I say that like you?
状元.
状元.
Yes. So even now people will say that, congratulations to become 状元. So that means you are becoming the first of the entire province, the first one. And the second one is called 解元.
Say that again.
解元.
解元.
解元, the second.
Right.
And the third one is called 探花.
探花.
探花. 探花. 探花, literally it means 花 means flower. 探花 means reaching out for a flower.
Oh.
But that's my understanding.
Yeah.
But it's really a really nice word for you
Very
to
beautiful.
say. Yeah.
Right, right. So it was an academic hall, let's say.
Yes.
And lots of achievements. You know, if you have your banner on that side, and on this side, if the emperor himself
Yes.
is coming to actually, you know, take your achievement to the next level, I think that's very, very remarkable.
Yes. When you win the examination, and you will return to your family.
Yeah.
And throughout the way, all the officials and relatives, they will just welcoming him, and all the performances, dances, fireworks, the celebrating.
It was a celebration.
It's a huge glory for family.
Yeah.
And you know what? In this village, throughout the history, since Song, 1,000 years, for over 1,000 years, there were 21 students. When
entire time?
Yeah, 21.
Wow.
Students when this is a very rare and glory title for anyone.
I see. 21 students
21.
the entire time.
Yes.
So if you make it through that process, then you're literally the creme de la creme.
Yes, yes, and you will be trained and prepared for even higher ranks of officials in the future.
Oh.
And now we are moving into this the ancestral hall, which is very important to any Chinese family in history. Those who made big contributions or having many children, they will tend to build the ancestral hall like this to commemorate their ancestors. And you can see the names over there. These are the names and also the donations of the children named Ouyang.
So what do you mean by donations? Donations in terms of money, let's say?
Yeah, money. They donate money to keep this memorial hall preserved.
Oh,
yes.
So it's a very personal experience for them as well.
For the family, yes, very personal. So every year you can see there are years and names, and even places from other regions, they share the same name and return and giving money to this ancestral hall.
Fantastic.
And well, if you look up over there, yeah.
The roof?
Yes, the roof, and also the one above the roof.
Yeah.
This is a very unique structure. I mean, even for me, for any Chinese here to see, because normally you will see a roof just finished on the banner here.
Right.
But what about the other one at the ceiling?
Yeah.
Above
what about that?
Yes.
What about that?
Actually, this is built in Ming Dynasty, 1,000 years ago.
Yeah.
And this is like a nest of birds. You can see.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it's made in the shape of a bird's nest.
Yeah, yeah.
That is
and it's all,
beautiful.
yes. And well, I was told by local that there's not a single nail or metal in it.
So how did they do it?
They're just the wood matching to each other.
Wow.
Yes, this is how Chinese Asian Chinese structure architectures will do, and and the character,
Yeah.
上 公保尚书.
What does that mean?
尚书 is a government official, the rank of government official, and well, it's more like ministers of transport, ministers of civil defense, like that. So that means someone that made to the level of ministers in history, and to remember him, they built this one. It's more like to honor him. Because if you are not a high-ranking official, you will not be able to allow to build something like that. If you're rich, you're like a landlord. I have a lot of land, a lot of money. No, you're not be able to build that. But if you're official, you're like the students of emperors, you can do that.
So it needs a certain standing in society for you to be able to do that.
Yes, your contribution as well.
Wow. I'm learning so much. I'm learning so much. Even for me, I'll tell you. Just to bring in, a bit of difference, but still similarities, where we still, for example, in my home country of Kenya, we still have very few places, albeit I'll say not as many, for example, as what I'm seeing in China so far, but we have a few places here and there that still keep the history of the country, where you can still see the roads paved in the same old way, and you can still see small relics like this. But this is amazing. This is amazing. And it's also very cool all of a sudden.
Yes, very cool place. Because I believe the structure is all made of wood, and we are in a very large hall here. This is the main hall, I believe, of the ancestral hall, and yeah, you can see the environment here. There's a large yard, also an open space in the middle, and there's a stone bridge in the middle.
So tell me more about the roof coming in, because a friend told me that it was to bring in water, that specifically how the roof is designed was to bring in rainwater during rainy season. And it's because that water in ancient China was thought of to represent, prosperity.
Yes,
was
good fortune. Yes, that's
good
right.
Fortune, wealth. So it was sort of like symbolic for accumulating good wealth, good fortune, and prosperity. Is that true?
That's right. Well, in many places in South China, they will have halls like this. And normally they will have a open space, open square in the middle. Some large, some small. Which one? This one's quite smaller. But you can see the ground here is wet, and we just had a big rain yesterday, so the rain will just fall into it. Yeah. So this kind of design is actually, I'm not an expert, but I heard someone told me that, well, this kind of design will preserve the feng shui. Feng shui is a very important thing in China. That means the fortune that you kept in an untold way. So they will say, this is fortune, this is not, that's feng shui. So this is how you keep it, because the water, like you said, represents a good fortune, and also the best wishes as well. And also this is stone bridge. This is where people get married in this village.
Oh,
actually.
Really?
Yes, this is where people get married. So as a bride, you will come through this door and walk through this stone bridge.
So it's a ceremony, actually. It's very ceremonial
style,
yeah.
But kind of a proof that you are pure and good, and you're good. Somewhere like this in this village.
Yeah.
A really nice place. We just lost our signal back in the hall, and because it's really very walls and blocking the signal. And now we're getting out of this ancestral hall. So how do you feel about this place? And
once again, Ning Hong, I am blown away by the amount of history, and it's such a beautiful place. And I keep being amazed by the fact that it's still so well preserved. I'm looking at the drawings, for example, and the big doors. I'm looking at all the writings inside, the main hall. I mean, so intricate. And all of it, I'm sure, part of rich Chinese culture.
Well, it's a little bit heavy. I was trying to turn it off, but it's a little bit heavy. And this is moon and sun and moon. And also the figure here, I believe, is Guan Gong and Qin Xiong. Well, so Guan Gong is Guan Yunchang. It's a very famous Chinese character in the kingdom of the era of three kingdoms. A powerful. He was also called the king of warlord.
The king of warlord.
Yeah, he is a very strong and a very powerful warrior, king of warrior.
Oh, interesting. So I'm sure he won a lot of wars and won a lot of battles.
Yeah.
Is that the case? Yeah.
Yes. He helped to build a kingdom called Shukou. Shukou means in currently the Sichuan basin. In Sichuan province right now, and he helped his brothers to build this empire, and lasted for I believe over 100 years.
So we're talking 100 years. We're talking a very long time and long-standing traditions, as we're seeing pretty much everywhere we look at. And Ning Hong, a quick one, because you know when we were looking at some of the facts about this ecological island that we're in, you know, I hope I get the pronunciation correct. Shukou,
yeah, Shukou Village.
This
is Shukou Village.
So when you know we're looking at some of the things that go on, is it true that there was a merge, a coming together of two rivers? I believe.
Oh yes.
Is it true?
Shukou. This is a place where two rivers meet, and then go into the Yangtze River. The Ganjiang, also known as Gan River, is actually a branch of the Yangtze River. So it flows through here, and we have another river called the Shukou River, where they meet together just over there, not far from where we're standing.
Yeah.
This is actually the village is in an island, I believe, just along the river, an island.
Yeah. Interesting. So interesting. And where are we headed now? Because there looks to be some activity. You know, it looks
over there.
It looks very interesting.
This is a place I was told by locals that this is a place where this is a new place, not an old Asian one. This is a new place, a new square built recently for locals to gather. You can see this is a hall of Jinshi. Jinshi we mentioned earlier. Jinshi are the students of emperors. Yeah. Hall of Jinshi. So you can see the names there. Because this place is known for these famous people, scholars in history, so they're building these two lines of halls to carve their names on it, their nameplates, like Ouyang. The first name, Ouyang Zhe. And Ouyang Zhe, like that one, Ouyang Zhe. And under it, it writes where he lives and where, what time he was born, and how, what's the ranks that he made in history. So. Yeah, this is, one of the places they built recently. And we are seeing some people are gathering here, actually, today. They're making tea, I believe.
This is tea, right?
Yeah, this is tea making.
Well, remember, I just got into this a few days ago.
The other day. Is it the same method that you've been trying to do several days ago?
I was using the method that's a bit more automatic. So what we have here, for example, is we have the manual method and we have the frying. So that's called tea frying.
This is tea frying.
Yes, where they take the leaves, and that's where we're able to get finally the very fried and dry tea leaves that we use at home is got from here.
Oh, so this is the first step, and then the next one.
This is now the second step. So this is a replacement for this.
Oh.
Yeah, so this is the automatic way of doing what he is doing manually.
Oh.
Yes. So this is how the olden times would do it.
Why he's rubbing these leaves and tea leaves? What?
So he's rubbing them because he has to get all the juices out, and also so that he can, in his own manual way, be able to dry it. So you see the drying, because I do have to tell you, by the way, this is smoking hot.
Smoking, really hot?
This?
Oh.
I know we probably can't see it on camera, but it is smoking hot. So what normally happens is they put the leaves for about 40 minutes.
40 minutes.
And they put a batch of, give or take, maybe around 250 grams, right? And then they're able to do that for 40 minutes. And then at the end of that, we get the tea leaves that we drink at home. But this is a much quicker process, for example, compared to this.
So actually you put your hand in it?
You put your hand in it, your hand gets a bit burnt.
Oh, you're very brave.
You know what? I think I am. And wow, so much activity here.
Oh yeah, quite a lot of people gathering here. This is we can see doctors over there, and they're helping locals to diagnose this. So we're seeing doctors here. These doctors are here for diagnosis to villagers. They are local villagers. So it's kind of a routine. It's kind of a routine that we're seeing that villagers in China, they are far away from hospitals in the county. So they will have this kind of method or policies to let doctors and also to come to villages in rural China. So these are doctors from the local hospital. They're not from here, but they are traveling here to the village to provide diagnosis to local people. You can see all those old people. They probably don't have time or ways to get to the hospitals more often. So this is how they receive diagnosis from them. It's kind of a routine that they will go to different villages one by one, like this weekend here and next weekend to another place. This is how you receive, because they are really some of them very old.
Yes, yes.
So have you seen any familiar thing? I mean, like where you're from?
Well, maybe not something like this, but I believe this is maybe like a consultancy. Is it maybe from the doctors where they come and they're able to offer their services and then they leave?
Yes, they will leave.
Yeah.
Maybe we could ask someone who could tell us more about this. 你好，咱们哪位可以帮我们介绍介绍啊？那位大夫啊，好，哎，So we're about to ask some doctor here to know more about this. 那大夫，问您一下啊，咱们今天这个义诊就是大概是一个什么样的情况啊？
这个是这样，因为就是我们太和县这个新时代文明实践服务队啊，它是2021年成立的要不我们今天我们是代表我们太和县人民医院的志愿服务队来这里蜀口州为蜀口的群众义诊，为他们提供一个在家门口的服务。
OK， 那咱们一般是大概多长时间会来一次？一个月或者一年大概去多少地方？
像这种情况，因为我们每年都会定期，基本上是1个月左右，就会去下到乡镇去。
OK， 行，好嘞，行，谢谢您啊，谢谢。So the doctor told me that they will come to every month to a village, also not just one village but several villages for every month. And this is a place that they choose for this weekend. They're doctors from the People's Hospital of Taihe County, from the county hospital.
Oh, I see.
And I believe you must notice the structure over there.
I see the structure. I've been waiting for you to tell me what this amazing structure is all about.
Well, they told me this is a stage for operas or performances. And this is not some old structure. This is actually a new one. This is a new place for people to perform performances or celebration during holidays as well.
So all the actors, they come and then they play out.
Yes,
a play
the actors
on
will
stage?
go inside, play on the stage, and people could sit here and enjoy the show.
That's very cultural. That sounds very nice. Oh wow! Okay.
So-
and there's a big tree I've noticed. And there's one coming up, but there's even one bigger one that we'd seen a bit
yeah, we
earlier.
seen earlier today. Yeah.
In English, it's called the camphor tree. But
yeah.
what is it called in Chinese?
樟树.
Jiangshu.
对，樟树.
And
yeah.
it represents a lot, no?
Oh yeah, yeah. People love this kind of tree here. I'm not sure why, because I'm not familiar with. I haven't seen so many of this kind of tree before, but they are very old and ancient. I've told that there's some of them are even lasting for several hundred years.
Yes.
Very large, very very big.
Right.
Yeah.
And I remember the one that we saw on the way here. They said that it's around 1,000 years old. So you can imagine it's quite old. It has a lot of history, and it's also very big in a way that they said it takes around 8 people to form hands
8 people.
and be able to circumvent to be able to navigate the circumference of 8 people. You can imagine how big of a tree that is. But I think it also has its benefits. I believe it also has health benefits, and of course we're seeing more and more with Jiangxi that it's such a natural place, a lot of nature.
Well, have you seen any big trees? I mean, in your hometown?
Right, we do have the equivalent of that. I'm glad you asked because we have the equivalent of that back in Kenya. And in my language, it's called the mogomo tree.
Mogomo.
Perfect, you've said it with the accent.
Thank you.
That's brilliant. It's called the mogomo tree. So what it represents is very much just like what we're seeing in Jiangxi. It's a big tree, very cylindrical, very old. They normally, as you've said, they normally last a few hundred years. And it represents health. And they say that if you cut that tree down, then that community suffers bad luck for the rest of their lives.
Wow.
So no one ever cuts it, no one ever touches it.
Well, I think it's similar. People share the similar thoughts here.
Yeah.
Like I said, some trees they are too old, very old, like lasting for several hundred years.
Yeah.
Well, there's only way that they could be preserved for so long because people living nearby, they will protect it so that it will last for very long.
Right.
And now we can see that all these trees, they have these nameplates, also the address on it. And for each one, they have an ID, and anyone cut it down will be punished. I mean, this is severe crime.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think, Ning Hong, the one thing I'm realizing more and more from our conversation so far is that two places can be thousands of miles away, but still share similar traditions, albeit in a different language, albeit in a different way, but similar.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I think people share the same thoughts, especially we live in this world and we share our love to all these environments that we are living in.
Right.
I think people have this basic knowledge and ideas of how they preserve their environment, like the water, the trees, and the environment, and the animals as well.
Yeah. And there's an interesting...
Oh, this is a tomb.
There's an interesting tomb right here.
There are characters carved on the grave, the tomb. Well, it's really rare, I mean, to see a tomb in the middle of a village.
Yeah,
for me, yeah.
I think so as well. I've never seen this.
Yeah, in many cases, they were just flattened and people will build houses on it or moved away. But I think this tomb has a very unique value for this village.
Right, and it must
here,
be...
欧阳 四世 欧阳四世祖 国府公墓. This means first two character, 欧阳, that's the family name, and 四世祖 means he's the fourth generation of Ouyang's family after moving into this village. The fourth generation, and then this is the tomb. Also, it was built in Ming Dynasty, like at least like 700 to 800 years ago.
So is this an important person who's buried here? I believe there's some.
Oh yeah, there's
some information
here. About it.
So it says Ouyang Guofu.
Yeah, Ouyang. Ouyang Guofu. That's his name, Ouyang Guofu.
Oh, Ouyang Guofu.
Yeah, fourth ancestor of Shukou Village, and died on 4 years of Song Dynasty. He died in Song Dynasty. And this tomb, I believe, was the grave was remade in Ming Dynasty.
Okay,
Yeah.
and it says it was identified of Song Dynasty, and it says it was a rare tomb.
Yeah, rare tomb.
And apparently, this
Crown
circular,
Yeah.
this circular thing is a crown. Okay.
Yeah.
We learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
This is actually not a very large village, but we're seeing that people have these kind of buildings like the one behind me. Also, there are other ones. Mostly, some of the built in Ming and Qing, mostly in Qing Dynasty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Very, very clean air. We're looking everywhere. It's green, green, green. As you said, it's an island. It's an island.
So we've been here like 4 days already in Jiangxi.
Yeah.
And well, the city is actually very famous. Not the village, but actually the city that we're in, actually very famous. Got some really famous people in Chinese history.
Right.
Yes, like one Wen Tianxiang. Wen Tianxiang was he was born not far from here, and also Wang Anshi, another one, also born in local. And they are people like that you talk to any Chinese, they would know about it.
Fantastic, fantastic. Oh, and we have, is this another ancestral hall?
Yes, this is the last hall that we're going to show you today.
Okay.
And actually this one is, I think is very, very important. That I didn't expect to actually coming here to find a place like this, because this hall is where Wang Yangming used to having lecture to his students. Well, to talk about it, I want to know more about Wang Yangming. Is a person really having very huge importance in Chinese history, actually.
And this is where he did his lectures.
Yes, he did his lectures while he was the head of county in this region. In this, the city here used to call Luling.
Luling.
Yes, it's a very famous place where intellectuals and education are very important. Just like we mentioned earlier, that they have so many students that are serving for the emperor.
Yeah.
So in this Luling, there are several major academies or private schools that people would study in the past. And well, this is one of the places where Wang Yangming used to teach.
So an academic hall?
Yes, we could go inside to see. Yeah.
Oh wow, and more characters up
Oh,
there.
yes. Well, the 三世县台, 三世县台, which means 3 generations of head of county. 县台 means the name of the officials. You are the head of the county.
Right.
Yeah, and to the right, 父子进士. That means father and son are both students of emperor.
Interesting.
So you can see these plates, why people are putting plates here, because each plate represents a story. Something people need to remember, something people want people to know, and each one represents a story. And over here is 兄弟上书. That means brothers are all the ministers of the country.
Wow. So this is family, it's generations.
Yeah, generations of government officials and also huge scholars.
Fantastic. Oh.
Okay.
So this one is a bit closed here. It's
Yeah.
not as open as the other one.
Oh yes, this is the way the traditional Chinese method of building this yard over here. We can go this way to see over here. This is the way people build. They will not let the door straight open so people can see what's happening inside. So they will put something here to block the view. Sometimes there will be a huge painting or calligraphy that's showing what's happening here, but we can see that this is a wood. This is something made of wood, and also you can see this is a big yard. Also,
I see it now.
Much bigger yard.
Now. Yeah. when you pointed out the other one was a bit smaller, I now see how big
yes, this is a
one
big one.
is. Interesting. So a lot of rainwater would come and pretty much accumulate on this side.
It will be when it rains, it will be like a curtain falling down, just a square curtain. That must be very beautiful.
What a beautiful visual. And would weddings also happen in a place like this?
Oh, no. This is not a wedding place. This is actually people wear to commemorate the dead ones. Yeah, the weddings over there and the dead ones
so
over
how
here.
do you know the difference, for example? How do you know that one is wedding and this one is to commemorate the dead?
Well, actually, it's based on what people choose, local people choose.
Oh, I see.
Because normally they will put different places for these two different kind of ceremonies. So for this one, if you're seeing that the calligraphy or plaques they're made of black and white. So anything that just black and white, probably related with probably the people to commemorate the dead. But there are other signs. But here, I was told by local that they were just choosing this place to be a hall to memorial the dead. Yeah. And but however, in the past, this is not a hall. This is actually an academy, a school for students to study. Like I said,
the scholars and the emperor as well.
Yeah. Like I said, this is a place where Wang Yangming used to teach his students. Well, actually, I want to tell you more about Wang Yangming so you will know the importance of this place. Yeah. So let me put it this way: in Chinese history, there were saints, right? Confucius, he's a saint, and also Lao Tzu. He's a saint, very famous and known by people around the world, right? So Wang Yangming was called half saint.
Half saint.
Half saint.
Why?
Why? Yeah, why? Because he was born in a very rich family. His father was a high-ranking government official, but he was not kind of the normal kid. So he would be very like causing all kinds of troubles when he is young. For example, while he was a teenager, he was staring at a bamboo for a week.
1 week?
1 week, staring at a bamboo for 1 week, not eating anything, not even go rest, and literally destroyed his body almost. For what? Because he said he's going to see the laws and the principles of the world from a bamboo. Well, this is a misunderstanding, but he was very young. But you can see how, determined he was
and how his mind worked.
Yes, to find out the ways how the world works. And this is just one story. Another story, he then wanted to become a warrior, a general, helping the emperor to conquer the world. And he himself go beyond the Great Wall. At that time, the Ming was having wars with tribes beyond the Great Wall. It was a very dangerous trip, but he go himself at about 20s.
Wow.
And after he returned, his father was insane. What happened? Why would you go there? Are you crazy?
It's a young man.
Yes, and that there's more. And then after he returned, his father decided, well, he's helpless. I'm going to find him a wife so he can be, rested in home and enjoy his life, do nothing at all.
Yeah.
Don't cause any troubles anymore. So he find a wife for him.
Right.
Yeah, a very rich family who welcomes him and really loves him. And he was missing on the wedding day.
No way.
No one found him anymore.
Where did he go?
And the place where people found him was in the temple of Buddha. And he was having an overnight chat with the monk there. You can imagine how crazy he could get.
Wow.
But actually, what people remembers him was he actually he has set his mind to become a saint. The others, they're just like being officials, getting rich, probably become the teacher of the prince, for example. That's their biggest dream. But for him, he wants to be a saint, just like Confucius.
Right.
Yeah. Well, but he didn't. He only made it half.
Halfway?
Yeah, only made it half.
But still better than nothing.
Yes, because in Confucius, people believe you have to be imperfect in every aspect, morally, intellectually being perfect. That's what his original goal. But then he realized it can't be achieved so easy. Of course it can, right? So he became a government official like his father did, and however suffered some criticism because he was helping the others to criticize the emperor, and then he was punished to go to a very remote place in Guizhou province, in Longchang, named Longchang. Back there, it was really remote because that was 1,000 years ago. That kind of place, you have wild animals, diseases, and also bandits of local people, and also killing people. So very dangerous place.
Right.
Probably won't make it back. However, when he got there, he spent years there thinking about what's happening to me and why is that. And then he comes to the idea, finally built his philosophy, the lecture of mind. Yeah, the lecture of mind is still have a very huge influence here in China. Because well, it tells people that to act, not just to think, but also act, to combine it together, and also to do things based on the instate of your heart to tell the right and wrong. Well, I'm not an expert, but still many people in history, also not just in China, but across Asia, they're affected by his philosophies.
Interesting.
And then this.
And then
this is the place where he come out of Guizhou province, and the first place he go is this one. So that means this is a place where he first tell his philosophy to students. This is actually
very special.
Yeah, this is actually
very
the place.
special. Very special from this guy who was missing on his wedding day.
Yes.
Very special from this guy who was
Yes.
part of the government, but still managed to rally up against the emperor. What a crazy life, but has contributed so much to society.
Yes, you can see we can still have people calligraphies here with hand brushes, and also these papers here. I think this is also a place for students to learn calligraphy.
This is a class, no?
Yeah, small class. Well, in the past, the students from local will learn the writings and also the writing articles, and also preparing for examinations here.
Fantastic. And what about there's more calligraphy and more wall paintings on that side?
Where?
Let's just go over here. There's something here. Is this more of the story?
Oh yeah, this is the story.
I
Zhu
see.
Yuanzhang. Let me see. Oh, well, this is a story where the founder of Ming Dynasty, Zhu Yuanzhang, yeah, the first emperor of Ming Dynasty, how he managed to control the floods in the river.
Oh, so there
yeah.
were floods. There were floods in coming from the river.
Yeah, flooding is quite a common problem for regions across China. So one of the main problem for emperors is to handle all these floods in the flooding season. And this is one of the stories that do. But this was not an old one. You can see this was put here, recently. So you can.
Yeah, they look pretty new. They look pretty new. Yeah. Wow. And for example, who is this figure?
This is Wang Yangming I talked about.
Oh,
Yeah. This is him.
I think everyone needs to see him. What a guy! What a guy!
Yeah.
A very interesting life lived.
So these are the philosophies that he built based on his experiences, like this one. Yeah, the philosophies he built.
I think he lived life according to the beat of his own drum.
Yes, yes.
How he wanted to live it is how he lived it. And we're seeing so many other figures on the different walls.
Yes, this one, Ouyang De. You can see over here.
Oh, we finally meet him.
Yeah, Ouyang De. Ouyang, he's the one that born in this village.
I see.
And the reason why Wang Yangming was here telling lectures is because he's the student of him and born in this village. So he invited him here to do a lecture.
Great. Great.
That's the
great.
story.
Yeah.
And more about Wang Yangming. It's not over yet. Really, it's not over yet.
I doubt it would be. The sort of guy you're telling me he was, I doubt it would be over.
Because 7 years after he did lecture here, he was appointed as a even higher rank official in Jiangxi province.
Right.
Right. In this province.
Yeah.
At that time, well, the owner, the lord of this place, rebelled against the emperor. Yeah, in June, someday in June, and he learned about it. His friend was killed, so he ran. He ran away. However, he returned by himself because he determined that I'm going to rebel against these rebellions.
Wow.
By himself.
By himself. He didn't have an army. He didn't have anyone.
Yes.
He was alone.
He returned to this place. Ji'an, the city, the city Ji'an.
Yeah.
At that time, it's called Luling.
Luling.
Yeah. He returned to this place partly because, well, this place, he has some students here, like the Waringa.
Right.
That's the first reason.
Yeah.
The second one, this place is very close to where the rebellion's headquarters in Nanchang. But he has no army.
Yeah.
But he got a philosophy that helps him to conquer, to fight the rebellion. What is that? He doesn't play by the book. For example, when he got here, he began to issue false informations about how emperor has already sent an army to this place. They're only like half a week away. And he released false informations about, well, the rebellions, they have some inner disputes, and they will collapse soon. And they was gathering people around the region to come here to form an army.
And they listened to him.
They listened to him.
Wow.
And in just about like 2 weeks, he got an army of 80,000 people.
Get out. No
Really?
way.
People from different regions in Jiangxi province, they all gathered here. 80,000 people.
And then what happened? The war?
Beat them. He just fighting against the rebellion.
And he beat them?
Yeah, he finally beat him in the Poyang Lake. Poyang Lake, just some place far to the north, near Yangtze River. Finally beat them. Do you know how long they did that?
Tell me.
43 days.
Only?
From the beginning of the rebellion till the end of the war, 43 days. The emperor's army still in the capital, and he already did that.
That's amazing.
That's why so many people are worshiping him, because in tradition, Chinese scholars were regarded as weak. They only know how to read, how to tell the others what you're right, what you're doing is wrong. But Wang Yangming, he believes in action. He believes that while you want to be intellectually smart, you also need to know how to act.
A good balance.
Yes, a good balance. Well, that's why people call him half saint, because in tradition, saints are just people who were telling the laws, telling how people should act. But he finally decided, I'm not going to be just a saint telling people what to do. I'm going to show them what to do.
Wow. What an amazing story. What an amazing story. I have no words for that, because I think it just basically captures the essence of exactly where we are. It captures the essence of so much history, Ning Hong. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, which is a big honor for me, to come into a place like this.
Yeah, with a lot of history, you can imagine if this was the first place, as you're saying, that he gave his lectures, that started such a big movement.
Yes.
That is incredible, incredible. And you can see it's still very well maintained, just like the other place we were in.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Well, so that's pretty much everything, and we're gonna show you today about the tradition here we found in this village.
Right. So much more coming up, though, in Jiangxi province. Indeed.
Yes.
I mean, you've had your own experience so far. We did the rice rice farms yesterday. How was that for you?
Oh, I nearly I find it really difficult to drag my feet out of the field.
So you went inside?
Yeah, I went inside and planted some of the seedlings there.
Amazing. And then there was the tea picking.
Yeah.
As we discussed earlier.
You did the other day.
I did the tea picking, and we also did the homestays. Remember, we went to a few homestays.
Yeah.
So it's been a very interesting experience.
Yes,
and there's so much more coming up still.
Of course, we're going to a place where they raise chickens in this region. Very famous, like the most famous place in China.
And tell me more about what you'll be up to.
Well, like I said, I'd be up to where place people raise chickens.
With the chickens.
They are like one of the most famous place in China. Also in Taihe County tomorrow.
Yeah,
we're going to have a live shot there.
Fantastic. So for us, we'll still be in Jiangxi. We're still continuing with all the experiences. We'll be looking at a bit more ancestry, actually, and we'll also be looking at lion lights. You know lion lights?
Really?
Yeah, the very interesting sort of mascot lights. I'll show you a picture after this, and we'll be getting actually into the technique of how they're made. We'll also be getting into a bit more of the bee industry. So when you'll be looking at chickens, we'll be looking at bees.
Well, that's our trip.
That's our trip. That's our
to
trip.
rural China.
Indeed. Right.
Okay, that will be all for our today's live shots, and I hope you follow our trips to rural areas in China in the future. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.